back with another exciting episode of NoBS Wealth, where we like to bring you no bullshit. And today we have a badass, none other than Danielle Keasling, who is the best, you can say, in the beauty industry, but has taken that to another degree and is here to help you grow in your journey, wherever that journey may be. She's definitely here for that. Even coming off a red eye, she's
Yeah.
here with us today to talk through traveling in beauty as well. So Danielle, love the intro, obviously, but without further ado, why don't you give us a background of where you came from and how you got to where you're at?
Yeah. I've been in the beauty industry for 26 years now, and I had no idea what I was going to do in the beauty industry. I just love to service people, and that's like my love language, is to help other people and to give service to other people. So it sat well with me. I always loved beauty myself, and 25, almost 26 years later, my career has taken a million different turns. It's all mindset though. And, I just literally got off of a red eye, and, I was in Utah in Salt Lake City doing a huge event for Matrix, and flew home so I didn't lose a day and just got right back into work today. Um, it's mindset and mindfulness. And, now I work for some of the biggest brands in the industry. I work for 5 different companies. I do a lot of coaching and consulting and freelance work. And I mean, people consider me a workaholic, but I love what I do. And I cannot imagine waking up every day, like, not in that perspective.
For sure, for sure. Talk us through the early part of your career, then like the transition from, I guess, working somewhat for others to like your own brand and your own business now.
Yeah. So, I've always kind of ebbed and flowed. Like, I've done everything in this industry that you could probably think of. And, so I've been on so many different sides of it, like booth rental, owning a salon, being an employee, and then becoming an entrepreneur and like doing my own brand. And that started with owning my own salon and owning my own brand and business, and knowing how to market that brand and grow that brand, and then ended up selling the brand and making a really great profit off of it. And that alleviated any type of financial stress for a good 3 years, where I could get back into like the creative artistry side of things and figure out what I wanted to do. So I went back into education. I came from the fashion world of hair, did a lot of editorial work, and then started, after I sold the salon, went into the education side of things. And that's when I saw, I guess it's probably when I connected, because I always loved what I did. But, in my mindset, owning a salon, I was growing employees and I grew my culture. But like, when I could change thousands of people's lives on an international scale, is when I started tapping into what I really wanted to do and what I knew I could do. And then when you work with big, large brands like L'Oreal and Dyson and Ulta, you can just reach so many more people. So, my journey just kept growing through it. And, now I still represent a lot of brands, but I'm completely freelance. I'm my own brand. My brand is Danielle Keasling, Hair Biz and Beyond coaching and consulting. And then my business partner and I are starting Another Million Miles, which is an entire women's it's like the concierge with credibility. It's a lifestyle brand for particularly women. Men follow it too, but it's more about like the woman's body, biohacking, staying young. I'm in my mid-40s. I don't know where the time went, and I refuse to like cave into the age thing. So it's the beauty industry in my background.
It's an important one though, right? The biggest difference between men and women, not the biggest, there's a lot, obviously, but one is the beauty side, right?
Yeah.
Most men we're simple creatures. We don't really give a shit. We usually go to the barber, fresh haircut, they
Yep.
fit, we're good, right? Talk us through like the mindset, right? You mentioned mindset a couple times now, and I'm a huge proponent of mindset. I don't think you can do anything in life without having the mindset correctly
Yeah.
oriented, or else it's just going to fail most likely. Talk
100%.
us through that mindset piece of why you do what you do, right? Because you could do and speak and take a brand 100 different ways,
Mhm.
but why focus on the beauty side and enhancing other women from that perspective?
It's a confidence thing. I think that, when women feel beautiful, they can outperform their expectations and their own like level of thinking. You can literally like the beauty industry is one of I think 4 or 5 industries as a whole that like actually physically touches people. And so you 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 become connected with your client, your model, whoever you're working with, no matter what. Like you're going to take on their energy. You have to be able to like navigate that, but I think that most beauty professionals and this goes for nurses too and doctors, like their physical touch, like you get that. It's like in your heart, it's in your like it's your purpose. And when you are like a server that like that's what fills me up. Like I don't need to win it. And I just had this conversation last night with one of my colleagues or coworkers, and I'm like, I don't need to win any more awards. I don't need to like. I mean, I'm done. Like, not that I won't bring up, but like to lead a team, to lead a mentee, to lead somebody else to like wealth and knowledge and skill and that's like what makes me happy. And it really makes me like I just came off, like I said, I just came back from Utah. I was in Salt Lake City doing a event for Matrix Hair Care. And, like they're so exhausting and tiring, but you get on that plane and you're just elated. You're happy. You're like, wow, I actually like probably changed the perspective of at least a dozen people, if not 100 people in that room. So,
You talked about you take on your clients' emotions a little bit,
oh
a lot
yeah.
of it actually. I know I do when we talk about their money. Like I can feel the energy and it puts a lot on your shoulders, right? It really does. It weighs heavy
Yep.
because we're not therapists, but we are therapists, right? Like
100%.
anybody who's able to touch someone physically and or touch their deepest rooted secrets usually involves in and around money. You become a therapist. You
Yep.
become part of them and part of their journey in that relationship.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that, right? Because there's a lot of listeners right now that are business owners across the globe, let alone the beauty industry and the money industry.
Yeah.
How do you personally deal with some of that weight? Because it puts bags on us too.
Oh,
How do
totally.
you deal with that emotional weight from your clients?
Yeah. I used to not deal with it. And, like I didn't really realize until, to be honest with you, I was just burning the candle on both ends until COVID. And that's when I realized, like, whoa, I need to like step back or I'm not going to be able to do this like sustainably, much longer. And I mean, I still work like crazy. I mean, people think I'm crazy. I just am dedicated to what I'm doing, but I have a very like ebb and flow balance. Like, when you become an entrepreneur and you get to make the choices, you have to also make the choices to create balance. Like I live on a beautiful island, Hilton Head Island in South Carolina, and I get up, I go to yoga at like every day I'm home, I'm at a 9 o'clock yoga class and it's an hour and a half. And that is my time. It's non negotiable. I cold plunge every day I'm home. I hate it every day I'm home, but I do it because it makes all the difference. Like you can physically feel it instantly. I'm just dedicated. Like I go out and I walk and I work out and like I'm not crazy about like working out. I don't particularly care to work out, but I do it because I know that I have to in order to like maintain balance in your life. Because if you just, my business partner is guilty of this. I'll call her out on it. Like sometimes I'm like, girl, get off the computer. Like you have got to like come to the beach and take a walk, take a deep breath, you know? That was pointed out to me again this weekend is like everyone, I get around my fellow industry people and they're like, you work, how do you do this? You work for so many different brands, you're doing so many different projects. And I'm like, yeah, but like, you know, the reality of it is like social media is all smoke and mirrors. And, yes, I jump from one place to the next and I'm traveling internationally and I'm going here and there and taking red eyes but like I get to bring my French bulldog sometimes and I get to like, go and like go to a cool place and, like chill and like, and I used to have a big guilt about that, like I had a huge, like, I didn't want to share that with people because I felt like, it was almost shame. Like I wanted to make sure that everyone knew, n- you know, understood that I'm like a workaholic. And now I am like 110% the opposite way. I try to be like, yeah, I go to the beach, I go bike riding, and I do things like the average person shouldn't be working more than I mean, I shouldn't say that because I'm like, I probably work more than 8 hours, but a day for sure. But it's flexibility, it's freedom. I guess it's financial freedom. And it's like the flexibility when you are at a level of entrepreneurship that you built up is like it's really nice. It's really nice to have. Sometimes I'm like, gosh, I can't turn off. But then on the other hand, I'm like, I can go have dinner whenever I want. I just have to rearrange my schedule.
But that takes time to build that, right? You can't start a business and be like, you know what, I'm done. I
Mhm.
feel like our society does a really poor job, and the internet doesn't help this. Social
No,
media does not help this at all.
no.
Of when you start a business, success isn't overnight. You need to build it. It needs to be sustainable over time before you can get to where you're at, where it's like, you know what? Yes, I need to do this at 9 o'clock every day. Cool. Well, guess what? I can fill the things in around that. And I know growing up, although my childhood is really not good, but I know growing up, we were always taught like work as hard as you can, 9 to 5, straight through, grind, grind, grind. Today's age is more like I'm going to work a lot. Yeah. But I don't really track the hours because I'm doing things intermittently that balances me out. So I'm not really working, right? Like I'm texting clients at 9 o'clock at night sometimes, but like I'm also not talking to them for like 2 days. You know what I mean? Like there's this
100%.
give and take, and I feel like our society, in specifically social media, doesn't highlight the fact that there's the grind still, and that success doesn't come overnight. Can you talk a little
Yeah.
bit more about like the journey, right? The overall journey that you took from getting to like just grinding away, COVID hit, and now you're able to do that thing. Talk us through like what some of those days looked like or
Yeah, I mean, that's like such a great point. Social media it has changed the game and people do get like, everyone's a coach now and everyone's
everybody.
selling a digital product
Yeah.
and that's cool. It's fine. It's not like there's no diss on that at all. It's just, I think that it's like what you're saying is that in order to get to that certain level though, like you got to put the time in. It just doesn't. I coach people. So like one of the first things our first consultation call, I'm like, what are your goals? What are your goals for the next 6 months? What are your goals for the year? What are your goals for 3 years, 5 years? And I would say 95% of the people get like silent because they don't even know what their goals are. And for me, I think my whole journey revolved around goals. That's why I like understand it so well. I was raised similar to you, like corporate, the parents wanted me to be a corporate, doctor, lawyer, like work your way up. You like go through the corporate ladder, like you work your way to the top, and then you can retire at, 65 if you're lucky. And I was so, I don't know what gene, because like no one in my family is in the beauty industry. They're all like corporate people. And I just went so opposite of it and was like, I mean, again, I worked in a salon for well over 12 years and did other things on the side, like, editorial work, and like flew back and forth from New York to here, and did, got into the celebrity world of doing hair and everything like that. But I mean, again, I had the flexibility, even though I was like working my ass off. I mean, I was working 12-hour days, 7 days a week. It doesn't just happen. Like, people will say to me all the time, I want to do what you do. I'm like, well, I've been doing this for almost 26 years, believe it or not. I mean, thank you for the compliment. Like, it's mind blowing to me. And, there is the financial freedom on the other side of it when you can get there, though. But like, you have to put the work in. Like, it just doesn't happen unless you're really, 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 really good at manifesting. I mean, I try to be, but like, you know.
It'd be on a different level, a whole different level if I had to manifest what I wanted to be. Gee
Yeah.
whiz. Talk to us more about Another Million Miles. Let's get in deep a little there.
So it like dawned on me after COVID, I think, when I was watching people create social media brands, particularly, like it was like everyone was home. They had time to like go, now what should I do? So there was just like, and the beauty industry especially got hit really hard. Like it completely changed. I mean, there was industries, I think everyone is affected by it, but there was industries that like they're not that affected by it. The beauty industry got crazy affected by it. Like, everybody became either a beauty salon professional influencer to teach salon professionals, or they became like a beauty blogger to like use products and blog and review like all the fashions, the models that weren't working Fashion Week anymore, whether it was because they couldn't, whether it was because their age, like everyone just became like in the beauty business. So it was like this overflood of, influence. And when you work on the side with the brands and you're targeting budgets and you're trying to figure out where, your return on investment is, you have to like take into consideration your marketing. And I started tapping into like what the brands were paying influencers, and and then I was tapping into like what their credibility actually was. And that's when you start going, this is insane that someone that is doing the same service that I'm capable of doing and has a quarter of the amount of years of experience, zero accolades or awards, hasn't spoke on a stage in their life. They know how to edit a good video, and I'm paying them X amount of dollars per post. And that's kind of where I thought, I should be using my credibility in a consumer market and be somebody that consumers, women especially, can tap into and go, okay, she actually has won North American Hairstylist of the Year. So maybe her advice is valid when it comes to, hair care, or, how to consult with your stylist, like whatever it is. And that led me, Another Million Miles has led me into a whole nother world of health and wellness. And the beauty industry and the health and wellness industry has like merged in the last couple of years, probably since COVID, because they're all speaking the same language about reversing your age now. And how do you stay more youthful? How do you stay, everything's about being younger, being more athletic, being more vibrant, being more self-love, self-care. And so it's really merged like fitness, health, wellness, beauty. It's all one big industry at this point. So Another Million Miles is like the lifestyle blog with credibility.
That is the credibility side. So I've been in the industry, what the hell year is it? 2024. I've been in it for 13 years. I've got, my credentials, top 100 advisor, etc. You won that. And I kind of was the same way with you of like, why am I seeing all of these financial gurus that I see on TikTok or Instagram? How are these people providing really poor advice and people are following and getting that? As opposed to someone who's been in it, still in it, dragging it away, grinding away, and attacking that. What can you say to those that are listening to guide them to people that are like you and I, who have the expertise, the credentials behind it, plus, the years of experience of failures, of course, too, as
Yeah.
opposed to someone who's really good at editing a video and
Yeah.
grabbing your attention?
You have to just pay attention. It's hard sometimes, but like I always say, like, I always make a joke. I'm like, well, if it happened on Instagram, it's real, right? Because like for a while, like it was like, especially I think when Instagram stories came
Yeah.
out, like everyone like was like documenting their entire day-to-day life every day, their routine. And it was like they made their reality
Yep.
on social media. And, like let's be honest, people. Like if it's perfect, it's probably not. It's probably not, like of course I want to be the woman that does the like refrigerator Amazon finds and all of her stuff is labeled and perfect.
Perfect and
She
clean
chops
and
up all of her things for her kids and like everything's like so unorganized. And I'm
right.
like who? Yeah, I cannot. And I said that to a friend of mine the other day, and he was like, "No, you don't. You don't want to be like that." He's like, "You would just like lose your mind if that was your life." And he's like, "You're organized, but that's like another level of like OCD." And he's like, "But you have to put everything into perspective. Like people that make money doing that, that's their job.
Mhm.
No, like their job is to organize your refrigerator or organize your pantry or organize your closet. That's how they make money." So the imposter syndrome nowadays is like a huge, awful thing because everyone feels like they're just not enough. And, when you're watching people, like I just think about like aspire to be aspire to be better, but like be honest with yourself. That is the reality of it is like they don't have a like if they're that good at social media, they are that is their job.
Their job, or they're paying someone a lot of money to do it.
Money.
A lot
Exactly.
of money
Yeah.
to do it.
Or have a big team.
Right.
Exactly. So like it's just not possible. I mean, like I can tell you no bullshit. Like I work for, brands that like well, I have to have in my contract, like I have to post X amount of stuff. And after I get off an event and get on a plane, it's like my email is like flooded and I have to answer all of these DMs on Instagram and TikTok. And you're just like, the last thing I want to do is make a recap video.
Right.
Like,
Right.
but I do it.
Yeah.
Like, and I do it and I say this to be real. I don't like, there's no like negative pun behind it, like towards my brand that I just worked with. It has nothing to do with that. It's just like you're just you're a human. I'm a human being. You're a human being. Like everyone's human. Maybe they're not. I don't know nowadays, but like like you can only do so much in 24 hours. Like we don't get to buy time back.
And that shit takes time.
It's
Recap
just
videos, posting, that takes a lot of time.
it takes time. And then talk about ADD. Like I I like literally pick up my phone to like start checking emails, and then I'm like, notification, and then you just go down a rabbit hole, and you're like 30 minutes later, you're like, what did I pick up my phone for?
What did I do?
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, like I actually purposely try not to use my phone for like emails anymore, because if I have to open my computer, I go right to my email, and like I don't have my notifications and messages on my computer. If I go on my phone,
Gone.
between the text messages and the email like notifications, like I'm like squirrel, 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 squirrel. There's nothing's getting done.
For sure. For sure. Well, as we get to the end of this, we always ask one important question. And that is, what is one piece of advice, tip, guide, something that you can give our listeners that will help them take that next step on their journey, wherever their journey is?
That you only have one life on this planet that we live on. And I always say that, if you're really, really lucky, you have 100 years, right? So like it's the scale. Like where are you at that 100 years? Are you 25% through it? Are you 50% through it? And then what do you want to do with the rest of it? And I don't personally think I'm going to learn to live to 100. So I like to scale it back to 80 maybe. But, and then it really like puts it into perspective though, because I'm 44 years old. And if I like think about that scale and I'm like, okay, I spent that portion of my life building my business. Now I'm here. I mean, really, when I think about the scale of 1 to 80, I'm like, I want to be in Bali in 2 years.
Yeah.
So you gotta like that's the it's like big picture. Like really, what do you want to do with the time that you have on this earth?
That's powerful. It really is. Like, I know we always talk about it, you have less time than you think, yada, yada. But like, truthfully, think about what you have left and start to make the memories and live life that you want to, not retire at 65, 67 based upon what we've been told when we were little. That ain't going to work. It's not how it works. But as always, everybody, one, I appreciate you, Danielle, for coming on, shining some light. Can't wait to share more about it as well. But also, I always tell everyone, like, share, comment, subscribe, not because of the algorithm and all that shit. I don't care. I really don't. I want you to be able to communicate with us, right? Yeah. Reach out to us, DM us, get us involved, because the only way you're going to be able to take a step forward is if you talk to somebody. There's not one person on this earth that is successful, both wealthy, rich, however you want to say it, by doing it alone. They have a team. Whatever that team may look like, everyone has a team, and we're here for you. Whether that's more on the beauty side with Danielle, more on the wealth side with me, or hell, our own networks that may be able to help you. Please reach out to us. So follow us as much as you can. And again, I appreciate your time coming off Red Eye and being on the show. Definitely love you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for having me.
Was sponsored by Black Mammoth. Any awards, rankings, or recognition by unaffiliated third parties or publications are in no way indicative of the advisor's future performance or any individual client's investment success. No award, ranking, or recognition should be construed as a current or past endorsement of Black Mammoth. Information regarding specific awards, rankings, or recognitions is available on the Black Mammoth website, www.blackmammoth.com. All investment strategies have the potential for profit or loss. Investment strategies such as asset allocation, diversification, or rebalancing do not assure or guarantee better performance and cannot eliminate the risk of investment losses. There are no guarantees that a portfolio employing these or any other strategy will outperform a portfolio that does not engage in such strategies. This broadcast should not be construed by any client or prospective client as a solicitation to effect or attempt to effect transactions and securities, or the rendering of personalized investment advice due to various factors including changing market conditions. The information discussed in this podcast may no longer be reflective of current positions or recommendations. While information presented is believed to be factual and up-to-date, Black Mammoth do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. The tax and estate planning information discussed is general in nature and is provided for informational purposes only, and should not be construed as legal or tax advice. Listeners should consult an attorney or tax professional regarding their specific legal or tax situation. Past performance is not indicative of future results.